The Strength of Silence, a story from the life of Socrates. In the sun-drenched streets of ancient Athens, amidst marble pillars and bustling marketplaces, lived a man whose name would echo through centuries, Socrates. Known for his relentless pursuit of truth and his profound, disarming questions, he was a philosopher like no other. But while history remembers his dialogues and ideas, few recall the fire he faced, not in the public squares, but within the walls of his own home. Socrates was married to a woman of great intensity. Her name, now lost to time, was once known for her fiery temperament, sharp tongue, and indomitable spirit. She was not a quiet companion to a contemplative philosopher. She was storm and flame, a force of nature who challenged Socrates not with arguments of logic, but with raw emotion. Each morning, as the first rays of sunlight painted the Acropolis gold, Socrates would rise, prepare himself quietly, and step out of the house, not always by choice, but often compelled by the tension that stirred even before dawn. His wife would scold, complain, and push him away with words that burned. And yet Socrates would bow his head, step outside, and walk to the marketplace, the gymnasium, the olive groves, wherever his soul and students awaited. He would return only at dusk. To his students, this daily ritual was baffling. How could a man so wise, so patient, endure such hostility every single day? One day, as he sat with his disciples beneath the shade of an old fig tree, discussing virtue and the soul, his wife approached from behind, her face flushed with fury, her words slicing through the air. The students fell silent, and before anyone could speak, she upturned a jug of cold water directly onto Socrates' head. The philosopher calmly wiped his face with the edge of his robe, then looked at his stunned students and said with a chuckle, "Well, after thunder, it's only natural that rain should follow." Laughter broke the tension, but beneath it lay a lesson. True wisdom lies not in clever responses, but in the ability to remain unshaken. To many, this was weakness. Why endure such a marriage? Why not leave? But Socrates, in his unorthodox brilliance, saw life as the greatest teacher and every difficulty as a sacred lesson. He once told a young follower, "I owe much of my understanding to my wife. Without her constant challenges, I would never have learned that true knowledge resides in silence, and that peace comes from within, not from comfort." He did not merely tolerate her, he respected her role in his growth. To him, she was a trial, yes, but also a mirror, showing him where ego remained, where patience lacked, and where wisdom still needed to be forged. Years passed. The city changed. Students came and went, but his household remained a place of constant testing. Then one night the storm rose to its peak. A fierce argument, louder than any before, shook the house. Socrates remained calm, quiet, as always, his eyes steady, his breath controlled. But this time, something shifted. The anger took its toll, and his wife, consumed by her own rage and exhaustion, collapsed. She died that night of a sudden heart attack. The next morning, Socrates, still composed, sat in his usual spot outside. When a student asked how he could be so still, so calm in the face of such a loss, he replied, "She played her part in my life with passion and fire. And now the stage is empty. I grieve not with wails, but with gratitude. For every harsh word she spoke, I learned the power of silence. For every storm she brought, I discovered the shelter of stillness." His wife's name faded from records. But Socrates' silence, his deep restraint, and his profound respect for life's lessons, no matter how painful, became legendary. This story is not simply about a troubled marriage. It is a reminder that strength is not always loud, victory does not always roar, and wisdom often wears the robe of stillness. Final reflection. We often think that power lies in speaking back, in fighting every injustice, in proving ourselves right. But Socrates teaches us something rarer, that the highest mastery is not over others, but over oneself. He who is strongest is not he who conquers others, but he who conquers his own reaction.